let's talk about seasonal self-care. I have bipolar type 2 and ADHD. Hi, I'm Charlotte Stevens. I'm the Ancestors, the world's greatest business and mindset coach for badass Black women. I also live with mental health conditions. I started my business because I live with mental health conditions, and we're going to talk about mental health. So the thing about bipolar 2 is it's a more mild version of bipolar. Bipolar 1. I don't have the mania where I think I'm God and I'm completely delusional. I do get slightly delusional, but not completely delusional. And I mostly get suicidal depressed often. And my mania is hypomania, and a lot of that is irritation. Like, I'm just highly fucking everything drives me crazy. It's like PMS heightened, right? So it's not like a yay, like I think I'm God and I'm gonna just do what the hell I want, which is also devastating because you're not God. But anyway, so that's, and then there's cycles. Every season, my bipolar 2 impacts me differently. And I also have ADHD. So what that does is that even though my bipolar 2 is cyclical, it goes in cycles. And so like you would think like, okay, like learn the cycles and then like plan for them. But with my ADHD, I forget. So like there's certain things that happen every season that I just forget about. The only season I don't forget about is winter. I get depressed pretty much every winter. Part of that is because I'm an outside type of person. I'm very much outdoors and active outdoors. And when it's cold, I'm not active. When it's gloomy and rainy, I can't get my sunshine and the serotonin or dopamine or whatever I get from like vitamin D. Like I can't get it. And I'm just like, I'm not a fan of winter. But other than that, I don't really prepare for the other seasons. And I tend to be excited about spring and summer because it's getting warmer, there's more light. But actually, those are the most deadly seasons for me. And I constantly forget that. So like I get manic in May. I get hypersexual in April. I get manic in May. And then I get hypersexual again. And then I get like depressed in the summer, like suicidal depressed in the summer. Also like homicidal in the summer. And in the winter, or in this fall, I get anxious because winter is coming. And winter, I get depressed. So anyway, it's spring, and super excited that the days are getting longer, and I can now take my walks until like 8:30, right? Like I have hella time. I can go swimming. Like I was just like, yay! But I forgot that like actually spring's not great for me, and that the extra light sends me into hypomania. And so I am, I think, ending a state of hypomania and a state of hypersexuality. It's been, I don't know, 9 days? 10 days? I don't know. It's been a minute, and it's disruptive, right? Like to a degree, it was. I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna front like I didn't. The hypersexuality part was fun, to some degree. Like you have to be smart about it. Like I knew what it was, and so I was able to be like smart about it, because when you're a woman in a state of hypersexuality, it's like it's not safe, right? Like it's not safe to be like a woman who's like, aroused in the fucking patriarch, like in rape culture, right? You can be a man in this state and the world's your oyster, right? It's all available to you. But a woman, where can I get off, safely and just be, and then be left the hell alone? Not too many places. So, and then with the hypomania, like not sleeping. So for 9 days, I got about 4 hours of sleep a night on average, and I just got my first night of like 7 hours straight. But like even when I was getting my 4 hours, it would be an increment of like an hour and a half. I just could not sleep to save my life, right? Because sleep is very important. So I forget that in the spring I have to implement a new self-care plan. And basically once the light starts to appear, once there's more light, I have to get really strict about my sleep hygiene, and I have to get and even incorporate naps. That like there's a mandated downtime where I'm meditating or taking a nap or something every day, because I can just get hypomanic. And the thing is that the true devastating state for people with bipolar, I'll speak to mine, bipolar 2, because I don't know as much about bipolar 1, is a mixed state. And a mixed state is when you are depressed, right? When everything is shit, but also you have the energy of hypomania, that irritation, that gives you enough energy to act on it, right? So that's a mixed state, and that's very dangerous. And so in the spring and summer, especially in the summer, I can get mixed states. So in the summer, it's just too fucking hot, and like the heat like sets me off. Very sensitive to the heat. The days are too damn long. There's just too much activity, or just like too much stimulation. Like this, like FOMO is like on high in the summer, right? Like fear of missing out. Like I'm supposed to be doing things, and so if I'm inside tending to myself, I feel like I'm not supposed to be doing that, like that, like I'm failing, right? So anyway, just recognizing that every season requires a new self-care plan, and I tend to get so excited, you know, especially if it's getting like warmer or brighter, that I forget that, right? And so I have to be mindful of that as we're moving into summer, that like I need to double down on practices. You know, I need to be more cognizant of how much caffeine I'm taking in, how much sugar I'm taking in, right? Basically how many stimulants, right? Because I'm overstimulated. I get overstimulated in the summer. I'm understimulated in the winter, and just getting in front of that as much as I can. And so what that looks like what I was really recently researching is, what are healthy ways for me to seek dopamine? Because in general, the coupling of ADHD and the bipolar is like, the ADHD has my brain in a state where it's constantly looking for dopamine. And so there's all kind of healthy and unhealthy ways that the brain can get that fix, right? So I can scroll on my phone for like hours and hours and hours, and I'm getting dopamine, but it's not really the healthiest way to get dopamine, right? I could do, you know, illegal drugs and get dopamine, but it's not the healthiest way, right? I could do risky things and get dopamine. So I have to think about, well, what are healthy ways to get dopamine? So like singing, humming, dancing, exercising, doing art, wearing bright colors, going outside, you know, in the sunlight, eating good foods that are good for your brain. All of these are ways to naturally increase dopamine, making sure that you're getting, you know, adequate sleep. All of these are ways to increase dopamine, right? So bottom line being is that every season requires us to get in front of it and to be thoughtful about, what are my triggers in this season? You know, what can cause me to go off the rails, you know, with these conditions, and also what are the benefits that this season offers in ways that I can help myself, in ways that I can benefit myself with my mental health and my physical health, and just being mindful of that. And then I don't know if this happens to you, but I know that when I do fall into one of my natural states, because, you know, it's like, this is like when I fall into a state of hypomania, or when I fall into a state of depression, when I fall into a state of hypersexuality, or whatever the case is, right? I can get down on myself, like, God damn, here we are again, like, fuck, like, and I forget that there's no cure. This is a lifetime of just management, right? It's just a lifetime of management. So all I can do is just manage it to the best of my ability, but it's not like, oh, I failed, right? If I had just eaten that last, you know, thing of broccoli, right? Maybe this wouldn't have happened. If I had just gone to that freaking meditation practice, right? Like, I'm just a failure, right? Like, no, like, this is my brain. It is what it is. It does what it does. And I can just do my best to get in front of it and manage it to the best of my ability. So I encourage you to also have more compassion for yourself and more acceptance. Because as much as it is hard living with a neurodivergent brain, there's a lot of blessings too. Like, I love that I'm so creative and so able to improvise and think on my feet. And I know that's a gift for my neurodivergence. So anyway, I am a business and mindset coach, and I help us get off the plantation and create online businesses so that we can center our mental and physical health. One thing that's really great about having an online business is, like I said, you can get, you know, you can center yourself. You are catering the job and what you do to yourself, to you, to how you thrive, and making sure that you are able to show up, you know, full, I want to say like juicy, like, you know, full of like, just like your essence, because you've gotten enough sleep and you were able to pour into yourself before you served everybody else. And for most Black women especially, like, that is not the case, right? We are giving from our savings, right, our reserves, to everybody else, and we're never really centering ourselves. So I can help you do that. I would love to enroll you in our summer school that's happening very soon, I think this week actually. So like, I would love to talk to you about how you can make that a reality, because at the end of the day, the plantation will give you mental health problems. If you don't already have them, it'll give them to you. You're going to develop some. So the best way to have a job is not to need one. And then for those of you who are dealing with self-care and mental health, again, just self-acceptance and self-compassion. Peace. Follow me for more. See you in the next video. Bye.